Hello and welcome to the Big Dumb Networking Dude channel. And I'm just going to pretend that I didn't just go black on comms and ghost you guys for the past 3 months. And I'm just going to get right into this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to configure and kind of set up secure firewall virtual FTDv 10.0 code in or on Proxmox. And you might say, hey dude, you've already got a video showing us how to do that. Yeah, you're right, I do. And to be honest, it is the exact same process. Nothing's going to be new. It's just that that was my very first video that I ever uploaded. And for some reason, I don't know if it was YouTube. I don't know if I was actually recording on a literal potato, but it only comes up in 720p. I've had people, at work, at other places ping me and be like, dude, I can't even see what is going on in this video. And that's true. That's true. So this video is kind of a cop-out a little bit since I've already got this content, but I wanted to show that, again, with the new 10.0 code, you can still deploy it the same way. It still operates the same way. I've been running the 10.0 code on my, I guess, quote unquote production lab FTDv and Proxmox since it came out. It's been rock solid, so I think it's a really good option for some of the features that it does offer. And without further ado, we're just going to hop right into it and knock this one out real quick. So the first thing we need to do is get our image over to our Proxmox server. Being that this one is really, it's like 1.7 gigs, we probably could go ahead and upload it just fine within the GUI here of Proxmox. I know I've mentioned before in previous videos that if it's over 5 gigs, sometimes it can be a little funky, but I like using FileZilla. So I'm going to swing over to FileZilla. The path you're going to want to use to drop your firewall image into is var lib bz template and qcow. And then I will just go ahead and throw that over there and give that a couple seconds for it to upload. All right, now that we got our image uploaded, let's go ahead and pop back over to Proxmox. And I did actually misspeak for a second. There about a minute ago, I mentioned being able to upload this qcow image through the GUI. That is not possible. I guess I completely forgot what I was working with there for a minute. Only ISOs and such can be, uploaded through the GUI here. You have to use FileZilla or some other, SFTP method to get this qcow image over to Proxmox. And we can go ahead and real quick, let's just verify that we do have that there. So let's pop open the shell and let's see, ls. And as you can see, we do have the Threat Defense Virtual 10.0 image right here. So we're good to go. So let's go ahead and get the old VM spun up. So we'll hit create VM, give it a name. We'll call this YT-FTDv. For OS, we're going to say do not use any media because we're going to be associating our media shortly. For the system, go ahead and just leave everything as default. It's fine as is. For disk, go ahead and leave it. Or, we're not going to be using this disk. We're going to be removing it anyway, so you can just leave it as the default 32 gigs. CPU, this is going to be very dependent on what you're deploying this on. I have quite a bit of resources, so I'm just going to give it 2 sockets, 4 cores for a total of 8. And then this is the, if there's anything you need to remember during this entire process outside of associating more NICs to it, is the CPU type. You need to go down to host. That's what works the best. That is what is recommended. So make sure you set your CPU type to host. Memory, give it whatever you want and that you can survive within your own environment. So I'm just going to throw another 0 on that for this test and for this video, for the video's sake. Network. First thing, the first NIC associated with the FTD needs to be in the management VLAN. So, or your management network. So for me, that is VMBR0. And just so you know, I'm not lying to you guys, let's just pop over here real quickly to the install procedures for KVM. So as you can see, reserved for internal use, the first 2 required. This needs to be on your management. And then your second NIC, or really third, I guess in this case, your third and fourth need to be your outside and inside in that order. So let's go back. What am I doing? Go back to Proxmox. Just go ahead and hit confirm here. We'll wait for that to pop up. And then now that that's up, let's go ahead and add a couple more NICs to it. So as I mentioned, second one needs to also be, it's system use, so I always throw it in the management network. We'll add that. Third needs to be your outside interface. So for me, it's what I have noted as FTDv out. So I'll add that. And then lastly, we'll go back and add our last interface, which will be FTDv in my case, or whatever your inside network is needed for your environment. Once we have this all up and set, let's go ahead and actually pop back over to the shell so we can get the media associated with our firewall. So go to shell. Once we're back in the shell, let's go ahead and hop over to that directory that we dumped our image into. So again, verify that that's there. And then we're going to want to run the command right here. So it's qm import disk. The number is the number, your VM number. So in this case, mine is 108. Yours can be whatever it is. The image name, and then followed by whatever storage pool that you are utilizing for this disk image. So mine is VM data pool. Again, this is going to be dependent on your environment. So we're going to hit enter here to get that kicking off. It's going to take a couple seconds. You'll see that it reads 100% pretty quickly, but then we got to wait a minute or so until we get our prompt back, and then we'll know that the disk is actually been provisioned and can be utilized within Proxmox. So let's give that just a second. All right, bingo, bango, bongo. We are good to go. Let's pop back over here. You can see we have our unused disk now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to hit add. And then I'm going to take the disk that we made during our initial VM creation process. I'm going to detach that, and then I'll just go ahead and remove that for good. And then I need to go over to options because we need to make sure our boot order is good to go. We need to enable the SCSI disk we just made for being able to be booted, and let's go ahead and just move that to the top. That should be all we need to do so far, and let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. And we'll pop over to the console and we can just sit here patiently and wait together. All right, so we went through the initial setup process. I guess I use that term very loosely because nothing was required of us. It was just the, I should say, initial boot. And I'm not going to lie, I did stop recording probably after about a minute because literally nothing happens. There's no interaction, no cool messages. So right now we got to log in for the first time. We're going to hit it with admin, and then the password word should be capital admin 123. All right, we got to accept the EULA. We accept that. Yep, I do. Got to configure our new admin password. Confirm that. All right, so IPv4, yep. IPv6, nope, leave that default. We'll say manual. And, oh man, I think, hold on, I gotta look on a page over here on my other monitor to see what free management IP I have. All right, so we'll go 10.11.11.12. And that's 255.255.255.254, I believe. 224, I mean, 224. Gateway is 10.11.11.1. Fully, we'll just say YT-FTDv .cloud connected .cloud. DNS, yeah, these are umbrellas, DNS servers, so let's just go with that. We don't need any search domains for this one. And then, do you want to manage this device locally? Just for the sake of this video, I will launch into FDM just to prove that it's working, but typically I would manage this with SCC, so Cisco Security Cloud Control, but for this, yeah, we'll just say yep. Alright, so sometimes it takes a minute for the GUI to come up, but let's see what we got here. Let's go HTTPS 10.11.11.12. Oops. Cool. And it looks like everything is configured. Well, not configured, everything went off smoothly here, so let's just make sure we can log in. And I fat fingered that one. Good, good. I fat fingered that. Good Lord, do I even know how to type? Oh my God. Did I not? What password did I? All right.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Alright, sorry about that. I have no idea what was going on. I rebooted the firewall and I think I'm good now. So, same exact password that I was typing earlier. And there we go. Here we are. All that just to prove that, you know, it's up and working. I guess you could have seen that with the initial logon page, but here we are. I'm not going to go through any setup or anything because I have other videos on how to set this up with FDM and I think even with FMC and SCC. So that was it. That was installing Secure Firewall Virtual FTDv version 10 on Proxmox. There we go. Another day, another video. You know what? It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be half a year since the next time that I decide to put a video out. And I apologize for that. If you subscribe to this channel expecting videos to come out in rapid fashion, I believe that was my initial intent, but you know, life just happened. So, you know, if you have ideas, again, like always, let me know. And I will try to make a video, you know, outlining whatever that you request. But in the meantime, while I'm not making content and while you're just out there in the world, wherever you are, just make sure you stay classy and keep labbing.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!